Complete Unknown is a brand new film that released on Christmas Day. This comes from writer-director James Mangold, who is known for directing films like Walk the Line, Logan, and Ford v Ferrari. This film stars Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan, as this movie is based off Bob Dylan basically throughout his 20s when he meets his mentor, Pete Seeger, who's played by Edward Norton, and while navigating both stardom and his real life and multiple romances, which includes Sylvie, who's played by Elle Fanning, and also Joanne Baez, who is an actual folk singer like Bob Dylan, who's played by Monica Barbaro. Also, in the movie, helping a lending hand in a supporting role is Mangold's frequent collaborator Boyd Holbrook, who plays Johnny Cash. The film is 2 hours and 21 minutes and is rated R. Welcome back to a brand new review here at Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinnenberg. Today we're talking about A Complete Unknown. So if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I do movie, TV show reviews, out of theater reactions, box office shows, and movie franchise rankings. So if you like any one of those things, please subscribe, ring the bell, comment down below. What are your thoughts on A Complete Unknown? Are you a fan of music biopics? Are you kind of tired of music biopics? Let me know in the comments. And if you've seen it, did you like it? Did you not like it? If you have not seen it, tell me, are you waiting for the Oscar nominations to see it? Or are you just not interested or not a Bob Dylan fan? Also, please hit that thumbs up video. So I was definitely excited for this movie. Going in, Timothy Chalamet is obviously one of the best working actors today, and me seeing him from very early on in his career to now is kind of now amazing that he's become one of the biggest movie stars in the world. And James Mangold, for me, for some reason, just isn't talked about enough as one of the best filmmakers working today. So that combination got me excited. So I'll say this about here, I'll get into my review of A Complete Unknown. And overall, this is a blast of a movie. Like, honestly, while I don't think this is my favorite movie of the year, and I don't think I think the movie definitely has its flaws to it. It is a fun time at the movies, and the reason why is both the filmmaking on display is just it's exquisite from James Mangold. He is in a different tier from a lot of filmmakers. I know he gets a lot of for some reason a lot of crap for the last Indiana Jones one, which I actually enjoyed. But also even The Wolverine, Night and Day. These are films that he got kind of gets a lot of shade for, but he still made some of the most important films. I mean, Walk the Line, obviously Johnny Cash, back in the early 2000s, which awarded Reese Witherspoon an Oscar back now closing on 20 years ago. And obviously Logan, one of the best superhero films of all time. And obviously I really loved Ford versus Ferrari. And this movie is extremely well made. The production design is awesome. The costumes, the sets, you can clearly tell they moved around the actual areas where Bob Dylan performed these songs. It just has a slick feel to it, which I think this movie desperately needed, and Mangold brings that. What's also great about the movie are the performances. Timothy Chalamet is fantastic in this movie, and like some of the other singers we've seen like Austin Butler and Taron Egerton, who play real life musicians. Chalamet performs all of the music himself. He does sing all of the songs, and he is terrific. I think if you're a Bob Dylan fan or not, you will buy Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan. There's a reason why he is one of the most captivating movie stars today. And obviously, yes, he does big things like Dune, but he's always chosen very interesting projects and different projects from each other. And Chalamet has never done a character like Bob Dylan in his career, and he's really, really good here in this film. Edward Norton, who might be going under the radar this award season, he's really kind of the heart and soul of this movie as well with Chalamet. The Pete Seeger Bob Dylan dynamic was by far and away the best part of the movie. And Edward Norton has his isms, as people like to say. I'm a big Ed Norton fan, but some people feel like he does the same shtick for every movie. I really respect this performance a lot. And it might not get a lot of respect throughout awards season, but it's a very restrained and calm performance. And I was not really, Pete Seeger felt very lived in this movie with the help of Edward Norton. And that's credit to Norton, who's really phenomenal in the film. The other standout for me is Monica Barbaro, who plays Joan Baez. She's really good in the movie. She also does a lot of her own singing, and her singing is really good in the film. But out of the romances, her was by far and away. The Joanne and Bob relationship was way more interesting than the Bob and the Sylvie relationship. The performances were great. The movie was really great to look at. I was never bored while watching this, but I'll say this. The part that is really disappointing about A Complete Unknown is that for me, it's just another concert movie. Yes, we learn bits and pieces about Bob Dylan, but as someone who, yes, knows kind of the generic stuff about Bob Dylan, I didn't really learn anything new about Bob Dylan, the person, through this movie. And I think that is what makes this one of the more disappointing award hopefuls of the year, in my opinion, because the filmmaking, the acting is there to be acknowledged during awards season. But I think the story is what really holds us back. And because we have to do so many music scenes that, are not part of the story, just Bob either singing in a club, his home, or a concert, it just doesn't give us any really real breathing time in this film. And every time you feel like you're settling into the story, we're already cutting to another Bob concert when he's singing a song. Now, I just think if you're telling music biopics, yes, do we want to see these actors sing the legendary songs of the people that they are playing? Yes, but that can't be 80 to 90% of the movie. And it really is 80% of this film is concert scene after concert scene after concert scene. And while, yes, Chalamet and Barbara, who do the singing, and even Ed Norton and Boyd Holbrook are phenomenal singing these songs, I really come for these films for story, especially if it's based on a biopic, so on someone that I'm not super familiar about. I want to learn things. And as someone who isn't a Bob Dylan aficionado, I felt like myself, I didn't really learn anything. I think one of the more underdeveloped storylines was Sylvie and Bob. Other than Bob being this superstar and her kind of being the regular person in the situation, there really isn't anything nuanced to that dynamic, and it really needed it. There were so many emotional points the movie tries for that dynamic, and I just didn't think it particularly worked. I also think the film, because it does like 20 different concert scenes, it is a bit too long. I mean, the movie could have easily cut 20 to 30 minutes out of it. I think it would have been a lot stronger. So yeah, I left myself just wanting more out of A Complete Unknown. It's a well-made, it's a good movie, but I desperately, as watching it, you can tell there were so many points of greatness, but the whole movie isn't great, and that's a problem. So overall, I will give A Complete Unknown a 3.5 out of 5, a 68%. What are your thoughts on A Complete Unknown? Let me know in the comment section down below. Subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.